First off, hats off to Wake Forest. What a great football game, and tremendous fight and grit on both sides of the ball. And obviously, that one means a lot to me for all the time that I spent with a lot of guys over there. And so, hats off to them. They're a great program. They're a great team. Dave does an amazing job with what they're doing over there. And so, our kids just keep fighting. I don't know how many times we can say it. I don't know how many times they can prove it, but they will not blink and they will not stop coming. And, man, tonight just kind of epitomized our whole season in that regard. We had our ups and downs at times during the game. There were times where it looked good, times where it didn't look good, but we just don't stop. And we keep coming, and defensively we were able to make just enough plays to give us a chance, and our quarterback is special. He's had a special year. He's a special competitor, and every time we get into these big moments, he delivers. And just hats off to him for him to have the game that he did tonight, and execute the way that he did in the throw game. And then to our wide receivers, Jalen Coleman had a huge night. Samir Hagans has a huge night and makes two critical catches to win us the football game, the touchdown, and then obviously the one that runs the clock out. Jordan Moore continues to make plays, and we've gotten banged up over there on offense. We're thin. We don't have everybody that we had to start the year, but it doesn't matter. They just keep playing. And then defensively, we've made that stop all year. We've made that stop in the fourth quarter when we needed to all year, and we did it again today. And no shocker that it was Shaka Hayward and Dwayne Carter making the big play for us on defense. And so I'm just so happy for our guys, so proud for our seniors and the guys that just played their last game at Wallace Wade. I told them all week, for everything that they've put into this season and all the work that they put in, they deserve to go out with this win. They deserve to go out as an 8-4 football team. They deserve to go out as a 5-3 team in the ACC. That's how this story should have been ended, and just so proud of them for ending it that way today. Questions?
Looking back at when you started this journey, is this how you? I know you expect it to be a championship type level football team. But could you ever imagine this amount of success in your first year so quickly with everyone buying in?
Yeah, listen, when you take over and you look at the results and you look at where the program is and the record and all of that stuff, you certainly don't imagine that it's going to flip to 8-4. But when you take over the job, you don't know the character of the locker room. And I think very quickly we learned that there is a lot of character in this locker room. There's a lot of fight in this locker room. There's a lot of kids down there that have a lot of pride in Duke football and making Duke football special again. And as we started to learn that, we knew we were going to have a chance. We knew we were going to compete. We knew we were going to play hard. We knew we were going to throw it all out there every single week. And then I think we've just grown in confidence. We talked about how, maybe it was a little bit of a blessing how the season step-laddered all the way through. We've gotten in this game a couple times with some of the better teams in this conference and haven't been able to find a way to get over the top. And then obviously today, for us to find a way to get it over the top is pretty special.
Mike talked about getting the defensive stop in a bunch of games, but the offense hadn't pushed it across the goal line late in some of those games. How important was it to get that touchdown at the end?
Yeah, I thought that touchdown at the end was critical. I thought, for us to score that touchdown when we were losing and be able to take the lead, I thought that was really, really important for how the game played out. You deserve that one. Yeah, no, obviously, listen, for us to bounce back on offense the way we did, for us to score the touchdown, have it getting taken off, have to punt it back to him, and then go down and Samir to make that contested catch that he makes. And then, don't get lost in the fact that I don't think this is the same result if we give Sam the ball back, right? No, there wasn't a single person on our sideline that wanted to see Sam Hartman go back out on that field again. And so for us to finish the drive and finish the game with the ball on offense was almost as critical as scoring the touchdown of itself. And so we made a lot of plays today. Offensively, we made a lot of plays today, and we knew we needed it. We challenged them to do it. We knew they were going to. That's an extremely talented offense on the other side of the field. We just made a few more plays than they did.
You finished that final drive by throwing the ball. A lot of teams would just run 3 times and made them use their timeouts. And just talk about that play call and the execution of it.
Yeah, they had 2 timeouts, so we weren't going to be able to milk any time off the clock. They were just going to go timeout if we ran the ball. And so we had to get the first. We knew we had to get the first down. And so, we put the big group out there on first down. We didn't really get the run that we hoped to get. And so then, we go out there on second down and we tagged an RPO on it because we felt like we were going to get a really loaded box, and we did. And Samir had been getting open all day on that play, and Samir turned the corner around and got open, and obviously that won the game for us.
What did you get during an 8-minute drive on the first possession? Came away with 3 instead of 7, but still, was that part of the philosophy to be able to string together some long drives and keep Hartman and these guys on the sideline?
Yeah, I think we looked at how our best way to win the game was going to be, and we didn't call the game conservatively. We knew we were going to have to throw it, so it wasn't really about like trying to slow the game down and run the ball, but we wanted to milk the running clock whenever it was available for us to do that. And so obviously that was a strategy, and we wanted to limit possessions. We wanted to get into halftime in a controlled game where our defense wasn't tired. We played 6 DBs all day today. We really didn't have a lot of depth back there, and so we tried to limit the snap count in the game. I think we were able to keep it in the 70s, which is what we were hoping to do. They played 100 last week. We knew we couldn't win the game if it played out like that. We just didn't have the depth to play that game against them, and so it was all calculated.
What does it say about your program that even your 4 losses by 1 score or less?
Yeah, I just think it shows that there's a lot of fight in there, and we've talked about this before, but, every game that we've lost, there has been a point in that game where people thought it was going to become a blowout. And there was a point where people could have turned the TV off. And these kids are so resilient. They're fighters. They battle. They have so much toughness and grit about what they do. And they just, I couldn't be more proud to be their coach. I really couldn't.
Would you feel like, I know it's not a physical game, obviously, which is important, but looking ahead, just time to start, kind of start talking bigger goals and things like that too, given how close you were in your first year to potentially, even bigger things?
No, we'll always continue to focus on the now. That'll be the most important thing that this program focuses on. We have goals and expectations internally for what we're capable of doing and where we're capable of going, and we'll continue to talk about that and stress that. But, we didn't come into this thing this year with lesser goals. And we're certainly not going to go into it next year with more goals. You guys thought I was crazy in the beginning of the year because you wanted me to get up here and just tell you that we're just going to go out there and try hard, and hopefully once the ball will break our way and we'll win a couple games, and you guys wanted that to be what this program was about, and it just won't be. It'll never be that way as long as I'm the head football coach. And so we're going to compete, and we're going to fight, and we're going to battle, and we'll see what happens. And I'm not saying we're going to be perfect, and I'm not saying we're going to do everything right, but we will have toughness, and we will have grit, and we will play hard.
In the moment, you turn around to the crowd after Wake Forest fell their last time out. And was that the first time all year during a game that you felt like you could kind of breathe and soak the success in?
Yeah, I just think, there's a little bit of finality to the last one. I think as a leader and as a coach, when every other game this year ends, you're thinking about the messaging for the next one and how do we get this one right, or how do we get them back, or how do we get them refocused. Like you're constantly trying to navigate your way through the next opportunity, and then you get to the end, and obviously we've got time, so they've got some time to enjoy this one. We've got some time to soak this one in before we have to refocus and get ready for the bowl. And so it was just a moment to appreciate everything that's happened this year for this program.
The series with Wake Forest, obviously this is your first year here, but the series really hasn't been that competitive in recent years. 3 straight losses by a combined 102 points. Like, how important was it for this team to just get this result against an in-state opponent?
Yeah, I think it's critical. I think the in-state opponents are big, obviously, for recruiting purposes. Obviously, Wake is such a similar school. We recruit against them a lot for kids. A lot of people questioned at the beginning of this thing, how long would it take? Coach, we like you, we like the program, but how long is it going to take for you to get it? We're worried how long it's going to take. I think we put down a marker this year about how long it's going to take for Duke football to get competitive.
Coach, Pat and I were talking about, I think it was probably around the 3rd or 4th quarter, that Riley was just having an unbelievable game, and everything was looking perfect for him. I know for you, because you're always seeking to get better, but was this the perfect kind of game for Riley? And just an unbelievable experience watching him?
Yeah. I don't know if I would use the word perfect, but he keeps doing this, right? We talked about this at the presser on Monday, right? That it was going to be a big time matchup of quarterbacks. Everyone was going to talk about the other team's guy. And listen, Sam is phenomenal. And Sam is a warrior, and he's done some amazing things on the college football field. And he'll be remembered at Wake Forest as one of the greatest quarterbacks they've ever had. But our kid's pretty good, and our kid's pretty competitive. And every single time that you guys make these matchups about the other guy, he responds. And today we were able to respond and finish it, and that was really important.
What type of emotions were you feeling going up against a mentor of yours, Dave Clawson, in a back and forth competitive game and coming through it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't think about that. Like, obviously, it was great to see Dave before the game, and you know, the handshake at the end. You know, I certainly expressed to him my gratitude, you know, for everything that he's done for me and my career and for my family. And I'm not at this podium without Dave, and I know that, and I want to make sure that he knows that. But when you get into the moment, you know, you're not thinking about that. You're just trying to figure out how you can score enough points to win the game.
Let me ask you a few things real quick. You rushed 3 and dropped 8 a lot tonight. What was the thinking behind that and how you think it worked out?
Yeah, we really didn't rush 3 and drop 8 very much. The majority of the game, we rushed 4. There was a 4th guy added a lot. We just felt like if we gave him a vanilla picture, he would slice us apart, and he still did at times. But we just felt like we had to make it look a little bit different for him and give him some looks that he hadn't seen and try to make him a little bit uncomfortable. And I think we were able to do just enough to get enough stops to win the game.
Talking about knowing the character of this team and knowing that they would fight, at what point did you know that that would be this team's makeup?
Yeah, you know, probably when I stood in front of them in fall camp, and like, I think the piece of this that got missed was like, you look around the landscape of college football right now where everybody's looking to leave, right? And everyone's looking for the next option and the next opportunity, and we certainly had some guys in this program that did that. But from the time I stood in front of them in January at the first team meeting until the time I stood up in front of them in fall camp, we had very little attrition. We had very little kids backing out. We had very few kids not wanting to be part of this. And you know, it was not easy. You know, the offseason was not easy, and it wasn't, it was designed to reinvest this program in football. And if they made it through it, I knew where we would be. And I stood up in front of them in fall camp, and I told them, I said, they're going to question a lot of things about this team, but, you know, we started this thing with about 111 names, and we're here with about 109. And that doesn't happen around the country. And so that's special. And at that point, you felt like you had the resolve and you had built some of that grit that you needed. You know, and then obviously as it's shown through the year, you get more and more belief in it.